And welcome back, intrepid travelers, to another quick look at a lovely little indie game I'm playing at the moment. Gotta love me them roguelikes, right? The game is Lost Castle, and it is kind of in the vein as Rogue Legacy as you slowly progress your account, the basic details like attack and defense, health, and all those things, as well as little minor details that improve the basic early gameplay. The big difference, of course, is it's not really focused on platforming, more the 2D hack and slash vibe you get from playing with different characters and different weapons, and this insanely chaotic environment where you're slowly shooting away lots of different enemies. Now, the game is incredibly fun to begin with, as you learn the different weapons, learn the skill effects and all that kind of stuff. And there is a decent amount of variation between even just the same types of weapons, what their special attack is, what their dodge attacks are, how much damage they do, and the effects that come off them. And there is a great variety of weapons there as well. And as you kill each and every boss in the game, it slowly begins to add new weapons to this game that you can find and pick up that have some excellent little effects as well. I think my favorite so far was the little staff that added a little, Plants vs. Zombies style little pea shooter there. It was great. I love that weapon so much. But that's just it. There's so much variation there, and I feel like some weapons are obviously going to be better than others. The dual wielding never really took to me, but maybe that's just my playstyle. It seems like it's far better to have a ranged weapon when there's so many mobs on screen, so much attacking you. If you get in there, you're so much more likely to take more damage. So staying from afar is kind of better. Now, the progression of the game is pretty good as well. Those earlier dungeons do tend to take it a little bit easy on you, but it still requires you to be aware of how your enemy attacks when they attack, the attack animation so you can avoid all that kind of stuff. It's fun to do that too, but extremely frustrating as you're learning and constantly dying. Luckily, like I said, there is that progression there overall. So when you do die, you are gaining up your level of power. It feels a little slow to me, even further into the game when you're absolutely caning those last dungeons. You still don't come out of it with much to upgrade in the end. Just a few larger pools of bigger abilities and you're kind of done. So early on, great progression. Later on, it just doesn't pull you in as much. Now, there are the basic things as well as other things like effects, extra potions, and also extra starting items that you can get and better items that you can get at the start. And this helps you progress through those earlier dungeons much faster, not just with all this extra power. Unfortunately, it feels like much of this isn't actually needed. The better you get at this game, and I don't know, I've barely upgraded my account and already got to the last boss and took a chunk out of his health, and probably would have done more if I wasn't as stupid and a bit more learned in his attacks. And that's the thing, after you've gone that far, even with the random generation of these dungeons, it gets a little boring over time. Now, they have made steps to, make it more fun. Those dungeons do change around a bit, how much items you get, where those NPCs are, just the setup of them and the monsters you might see can change from run to run. And also there's, I think, 3 different bosses that you can get in each of those separate dungeon spaces with their own attack styles, animations, and things to avoid. That's a decent amount of variation, but not something I would probably be playing for, dozens of hours. But for the $10 price tag, it's a fun game, and it also has co-op, which I haven't quite jumped into yet. Now, it does have local and online co-op, but it seems like the online co-op, you need to actually, create lobbies with friends to join in with them. And that seems like a good, balance between having a good co-op experience and not really wanting that pugging, which wouldn't quite work, I don't think, in this atmosphere with, the power progression that goes on behind the scenes. Overall, it's a decent game, and I do recommend Lost Castle. If you like that roguelike punishing experience, if you love Rogue Legacy, just like those hack and slash games as well, it's probably worth a check out. Thanks everybody, and enjoy your game.